If you find that we need to troubleshoot our compressor, there's a couple things that we need to keep in mind and a couple things that you should try first and foremost before doing any other troubleshooting steps. You might find that your fridge is in what is known as a lockout mode. And what that means is we might have lights that are on, but the compressor itself is not operating. And if you find this to be the case, the very first best thing to do is to actually perform what is known as a hard reset. Now to do this, we're going to disconnect all power from the fridge. If you don't have access to the terminal block to disconnect it directly, we're going to make sure to unplug shore power, solar panel. We don't want any generators, anything that is introducing voltage to the system. This will need to be taken out of the equation. This is going to be done for around 5 to 10 minutes, and then we can reconnect power once that time has passed. If you've already done the hard reset, then maybe it's time for us to take a couple amperage readings on our compressor. Now, amp readings can tell us a lot about what might be going on. If you find that we have no amps on our power wire, which here we can see is the black wire with the plus, then it could mean that we don't have power getting to the fridge, possibly from a blown fuse or maybe even a wiring issue. If you find that we are at 0.5 to 2.5 amps, it could indicate that maybe we are on a low level of refrigerant. It's not taking a lot of energy for the compressor to move that fluid through the system. It's not going to have a high amp draw, and this is possibly a reason for that. Now, 3 amps to 14 amps, this is what would be considered a normal operating range, and it can vary based on things like temperature, whatever the case might be, as to what amp draw you might see. But 3 to 14 is where we want to be. Anything above 14, especially 15, this could indicate that that motor is locked up and it's just drawing too many amps. This would indicate maybe the compressor is bad and likely the fridge will need to be replaced. If you ever need to troubleshoot your compressor, you can do so also from our compressor control module. A really effective step to try and initiate the compressor to run is to take a jumper wire and connect it between the C and the T of your compressor control module, the compressor and the thermostat. By closing that continuity, it can jumpstart your compressor, and this can be a really valuable resource for you. So start with the hard reset. If you notice that everything is still the same after doing so, try and take an amp draw reading from the power wire on the compressor. This is going to be the very best way to test yours.